Bernie Madoff, that name comes back again. If you thought fallout from the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme was put to bed, you better think again, because in a new development linked to the case, a former MIT professor and his son agreed to plead guilty to running a $500 million hedge fund scam that was uncovered by investigators probing Bernie Madoff. Well, Bloomberg News' Christie Smythe covers the New York courthouse scene and joins us now with more. This is an incredible story about what this MIT professor and his son did together.
It's sort of sad. It's
greedy.
Yeah. Yes. It's it's the story of this father and son who thought they could get into business together and open a hedge fund, be successful, use the father's trading model, and but they sort of inflated it to investors and said, okay, we've got this model, we have these results, but the results weren't real. And as it turned out, they raised all this money from investors, they lost some of the money. And investigators and regulators discovered this and realized that they had lied about what they were doing.
So they lost a lot of money, though,
yes.
Right? We're talking about
$140 million.
Okay, $140 million, but they paid themselves what? They got rich by how much?
At least $16 million in fees.
Wow.
Over the course of the entire life of the business.
And they raised about $500 million.
Yes.
Much of this just on the name of Gabriel Bittron himself.
Yes,
right?
On his professorship, his association with MIT, his claims of using a complex mathematical model, which I'm sure sounded very attractive to investors. Right, exactly, a black box, basically. But he thought he could make it work, I think. He had done some theoretical results. It just turned out that he sort of inflated his claims to investors, said he had used real money when he hadn't.
Right. And we just showed a picture, by the way, of his son, Marco. They look very, look like nice, trustworthy guys. He's sitting there, holding his son. There he is. And, who would suspect that they'd be running this scam like this? But who suspected Bernie Madoff?
It was by uncovering the Madoff Association. They had invested some of the money that they raised from investors, they invested with Madoff and some of the Madoff feeder funds. So when regulators were looking for the victims of the Madoff scheme, they found some interesting irregularities. They asked for more information, and that's how it all kind of came unraveled. Some emails came to light in which, in sort of a very contrite manner, they're expressing remorse for basically cheating their investors.